Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Curly K Glam, and I am here today to talk about Damon. Okay, so last night's episode, Damon finds out this piece of information from the recruit he had, Jerry, about Lando. And he tells Damon that Damon is a good guy because he has turned the other cheek against what Lando has done. So Damon looks at him in unfamiliarity and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so the dude, Jerry, proceeds to tell him that, oh, well, when I was on my trip, when I was on my visit at Hawkins, the guys from Hawkins told me that Lando was the one who released the video of you practicing at Hawkins to the news. Damon was like, oh, because that kind of information was supposed to get out because Damon hadn't fully left Princeton. He hadn't made up his decision, I don't think. Or if he did decide that he was going to do that, he reneged at the last moment. So, and we was always wondering like how that got leaked to the news because the only people who was there was the coach and of course, teammates who were welcoming Damon to to Hawkins. So, with that being said, I saw some people on Twitter saying that they think Coach Shaw leaked it, but I don't think Coach Shaw leaked it just off the strength of because of the conversation he had with Marcus. And I don't know if you remember, but when Marcus was trying to get Damon back, Marcus had a conversation with the Coach Shaw about Damon needed to take care of some things with his father, and now that Jesse is the coach, he was just like, they have some father-son issues that they need to work out, and you remember how when you lost your father, you said you had all these things. So I think Marcus had kind of like a heart-to-heart with Coach Shaw, and I feel like Coach Shaw had some empathy or compassion toward Damon. That's why he, let Damon go. But outside of that, I feel like Lando did that whole thing behind Coach Shaw's back. So that's the only reason why I don't think that Coach Shaw leaked that information, so to speak. I do feel like Lando did do it, and here's why. Since we've met Lando, Lando has not liked Damon. Initially when they had that whole mixer, when they had the HBCU not expose, but like the HBCU event where they were trying to expose HBCU athletes to the news to get exposure. When Damon first walked up to Lando greeted him very like harshly. And I know sometimes like with athletes, like it's a little bit of tension just because like we finna play a game, like everybody a little hype. But Damon like wholeheartedly walked up to Lando and was like, hey, I'm Damon Sims, nice to meet you, or whatever. I'm the pitcher for Princeton. And Lando was like, I know who you are. And he called him a super Negro. So like that whole interaction, the first time they met was like very brash. Like it was very brash. And I feel like Lando just had it out for Damon since then. And so he explained to Damon at one point how Princeton was his top choice. He was a Princeton legacy. He wanted to go to Princeton and he was about to go to Princeton that same week. So basically around the time when we first met Damon on the backdoor pilot of All-American, Lando was set to go to Princeton, but when Damon Sims decided that he wanted to come to Princeton, and while Coach Shaw was at Princeton, Coach Shaw decided to take Damon over Lando. That's how Lando ended up at Hawkins, which is another reason why I feel like Lando did it to get back at Coach Shaw, because after Coach Shaw left Princeton, Coach Shaw went to Coach Hawkins, and Lando was playing at Hawkins. He was the pitcher at Hawkins. So I feel like he probably could have done it to get back at the both of them. Now, I'm not saying that Lando doesn't like Simone or he doesn't have feelings for Simone, because honestly, Lando met Simone outside of the fact that Simone knew Damon or was as close to Damon as she was. Lando didn't know that. And so Lando, I guess, didn't find that out until he went to family dinner. Or he did find out Simone was cool with Damon from when they were sitting at the table in the student union at one time. And Simone told Lando he couldn't sit at the table with them. And Keisha was like, y'all are rude. But Keisha didn't know the whole situation. So, with Simone having backstory and Damon telling her that, I felt like moving forward after the whole threat happening and then Lando and Simone having their entanglement, I feel like at this point, I'm not gonna say Simone got feelings for Lando, but I'm not saying that she's like not going to pursue Lando, if that makes sense. I feel like, of course, season one strictly was about the formation and the foundation of the friendship between Damon and Simone. And I feel like even though Simone was in a relationship with Jordan that whole season until the very end when they broke up, I feel like Simone and Damon were pretty close. And even though Simone was in a relationship, and her relationship with Jordan was pretty heavy because at one point they were married, I feel like once they went back to the boyfriend-girlfriend space, Simone kind of got close to Damon because she didn't have anybody, number one. She moved all the way across country, and so did Damon, for school. And I feel like Damon was the only person she knew at the time outside of Keisha and Nate, because of that. He was the first person she met at Princeton. And then, like, they both being athletes for Princeton, student athletes, I felt like they had that kind of bond and kind of connection. So I feel like Simone and Damon are each other's safe space, even with Damon being with Thea, because I feel like the only reason Damon really is with Thea, if we want to talk about it, is because of what happened to Thea that night, and they kind of got close, became friends after that. But after seeing all of the interactions with Simone and Damon in season 2, I feel like Damon is confused. I feel like his heart is with Simone, but he also knows Simone is not something he can have at the time, strictly because, one, she had just got out of a relationship with Jordan, so she was kind of like off minute at that point. 2, because when she had got out of a relationship with Jordan, and she found out that he was going with Thea, she didn't say nothing to him about that. So I feel like Simone was trying to find her way, and now she's having this whole, like, not identity crisis, but she's trying to find out who she is as an individual right now on the second half of the semester. So, like, yeah, I don't really know, like. But going back to what I said initially, because I want to kind of wrap this up, I feel like Simone was slightly wrong for what she said to Damon. And I understand that Damon was also wrong because Damon is actively asking her questions while he's in a relationship. But I think at one point we've all been in Damon's spot where we had feelings for somebody else, or interest in somebody else, even though we were in a relationship and had feelings for the person we were currently dating. And especially if you express those feelings to that person before you got into a relationship, and so that person is aware and you're aware, and it kind of doesn't change things, even though, so you can like have feelings for two different people at the same time, and for two totally different reasons. But I feel like Simone was wrong in saying, this is my business, my love life is off limits, and if you can't respect that, then we need space. And this is why I feel like that. In the beginning, Simone knew that she had like this emotional bond with Damon. And so she been trying to like avoid it, for one. And I guess each of some people handle their feelings the way they want to handle their feelings. But Damon is very much aware of his emotional bond with Simone. Just like she's aware of her emotional bond with Damon. No, she didn't feel comfortable telling Damon about what happened to Jordan, simply because, like, she had already crossed lines with Damon while she was in her relationship with Jordan. So I don't feel like she felt comfortable telling Damon that, especially after she had broke up, because then it would have looked like she broke up with Jordan to get with Damon. And that's not what she wanted it to look like, because she was very much, like, in love with Jordan. And she didn't want to tell Damon anything about Jordan because, like I said, she felt like she had crossed the line with Damon while she was in a relationship with Jordan. So I could see that. But now, she ain't in a relationship with nobody. And so, even while Damon and Simone had that conversation while they was at the tennis match that Thea overheard, when Damon was like, do you ever think about what we would be like if the timing had been different? And she was like, all the time. Which, you know, secures the fact that she got feelings for Damon. Or she wonders what her and Damon would be like if they were both at that point in their lives where they could be together. So then, when Damon did get with Thea, Simone, I think without his advice, she would say things to both Thea and Damon about their relationship without each other's advice. Kind of sort of like how when Thea was leaving to go see Damon during the threat, she was like, where are you going? And she was just like, I'm going to tell Damon I love him or whatever. She kind of gave the advice there. Thea didn't ask for that. So then, when Thea got mad at Simone, because she was telling the whole team that Simone is the reason of her injury, everybody kind of iced Simone out. And Simone started feeling the pressure of that. So what did she do? She went and found Damon and was like, Damon, you need to check your girl. Damon was like, I don't want to be involved. She was like, oh no. So we doing that now? And he was like, what? He was like, you know what she's doing to me is wrong, but you're standing there and you're not doing anything about it when you could be the one to say something. And then he was like, but I don't want to be involved. And she was just like, but we're friends. But we're friends. Like, she doubled down on the but we're friends. Like, so we don't got each other back. We supposed to be family. So you ain't gonna say nothing? You just gonna let her treat me like this? And you gonna let her have this other fat on the team and treat me like this? So then, I think Damon did end up saying something to Thea. But he was like, I talked to Thea. And he was like, if Thea had something to say to you, she would say it to you to your face. And so then I guess, you know, Simone was like, oh, well, I guess she would. And she rolled with it. Okay. I'm winding back now. So now, Damon's telling you what Lando did. Number one, you saying what he said was hearsay. He could have said what you said about Thea and the whole injury heard, said, telling the whole team that you caused her injury was hearsay, but he heard you out. That was the only difference that I thought stood out. He heard what Simone had to say. Versus when he went to Simone with the whole thing about Lando, she was just like, oh, well, how do you know that's true? How did he know what Thea told the girls was true? How did he know that was true? He just listened to what you had to say. He didn't say that you were lying. But you was like, well, I don't know about that because, you know, we don't know if that's for certain. We just know that's hearsay. Well, if it's a visit, just like if Simone had a tennis recruit and she was showing a recruit around and a recruit had been with the other girls and came back to Simone and told Simone what the girls had said about her, she would be like, oh, well, this is what the girl said. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, she would expect Damon to be supportive. I just don't feel like Simone was supportive. Now, was Damon's motives necessarily bad? Yeah. But I do think Damon really does care for Simone. Is he a little jealous of Orlando? Yes, because I don't think he necessarily wants Simone to be with Lando because he don't like Lando. Now, had Simone got with somebody else who he thought was a good guy, I think he would have been sort of jealous, but I don't think he would have did what he did like with Lando. Because like had Simone pursued Rome, I don't think Damon would have cared. Because you know Rome is that dude who been giving the cortisone shots, who Simone kissed on New Year's. Because at that same party where Damon was there, Simone was kissing Rome. So I don't feel like if Simone would have pursued Rome, I don't feel like Damon would have really cared like that. But because it's Lando and Lando been giving him grief since they first met, yes, I feel like that's exactly why. Because Damon couldn't say nothing. Like, you with Thea. And seeing as though Thea ain't cool with Simone like that, and you not cool with Lando like that, I guess now it's finna be the flip-flop show, and we about to see how both of them feel. So yeah, it's about to get messy, pretty much. And I don't know if Thea and Damon is gonna last throughout the rest of season 2, because we about to go on a mini break for a little while, probably for a couple of weeks, and then they're gonna start back showing the show probably in December. Or probably at the beginning of January. And then we'll probably be done before summer come with them episodes. But yeah, y'all. What y'all think about that whole scene when Damon tells Simone about Lando? Do you feel like Damon was wrong? Do you feel like Simone was wrong? Or do you feel like you can understand both sides? I ain't gonna say Simone was necessarily wrong in what she felt, but it was just the way she said it. Damon didn't have to tell her she was being hard-headed though, but I could kind of see where Damon was coming from, because that was important to him. Like, Lando had been giving him grief, and he also tried to take his spot, which Simone knows. But I guess Simone felt differently in this instance. So yeah, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Stay tuned to more videos. I'll be back.